questions we wrestle with as Christians about who God is, how do we live out our faith, what is the Bible, what is the truth of the Bible, what are we supposed to believe, how are we supposed to live. There are really big, deep questions that we ask each other, that we ask God, that we wrestle with ourselves. And that's why the Cultivate podcast exists, to help us go deeper in our understanding of who God is, His Word, and the way that He's called us to live. Hey everyone, welcome to the Cultivate podcast with the Grove Church. I'm Charlie Loften. I am the lead pastor there, and I'm here with...
the one who Charlie loves.
That's your go-to. That's the one you're always going to come back to.
I really like it.
Abigail
it's a high
Bagel Boone. What?
It's a high honor.
It is. That you have just given to yourself. Podcast producer,
Yeesh.
Creative director, small businesswoman.
I am that, and I've thought that more often recently because I'm like, I need more money. I guess I could qualify for a loan.
Entrepreneur?
I guess so.
Yeah.
But I'm B2B. I don't like sell a product to customers. You know.
So
you know what
B2B
is business to business.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sometimes people hear entrepreneur and it's like, where can we buy your product? Nowhere, unless you're a business that needs my services.
So every now and then we will get feedback from the podcast.
Yes, which is always welcome.
Always welcome. Info at thegrovechurch.org would be great. Charlie at thegrovechurch.org.
Abigail at the
Bagel Boone. Abigail at thegrovechurch.org. But we recently got some feedback here. Extensive. It was a fairly significant email.
And informative.
Right? I don't necessarily read the whole thing, but two main critiques.
Yes.
The first
that
one,
we were wrong on both counts.
We're wrong. And the first one was
that there are horse-mounted police.
I said there were horse-mounted police.
I know, but I think my main point was that it's incredibly ineffective.
Well, okay, that's not we're wrong. That's you're wrong, and I was right because depending on where you are, like in a park,
and
or in a crowd.
One of her examples is from Elf. And those do look really scary.
They were effective but scary. Yes,
really scary.
Yeah,
which maybe
how
is the
else
most
you gonna get around
effectiveness.
Central Park? A Segway. An e-bike
or one of those moped or the scooter things.
Right. It is very effective and quite intimidating. See the movie Elf. So she is not disagreeing with us there. She is disagreeing with
me.
You.
And also, I've never seen it. Maybe you have. Have you seen The Walking Dead?
I watched a few seasons of it and got a little bored.
I watched the first episode and there's a gruesome horse accident, which is funny. And I couldn't go past that because it was so gory.
I thought the first episode of Walking Dead is one of the best episodes of any It was just such an interesting concept.
That's huge.
It was an interesting concept of you got this sheriff or deputy or whatever, and he's in the hospital and goes into some sort of coma. And wakes up to that. I just thought the premise of that just hooks you.
Sure.
Just so good. So good.
Whenever I have this theory that if space freaks me out to no end. Same. Also the deep ocean, but like space is more.
Like the most irrational fear I have is that somehow I'm going to be in a situation where I have to do a spacewalk.
Yes. So
there's got to be a name for that.
No, but I've said that if I somehow got untethered from my ship, I'm just taking the helmet off right away.
That doesn't seem like a great way to die.
It'd be so fast.
Not as fast as you think.
If you can't live outside of the suit,
right?
Surely it's like, you know? And so in The Walking Dead, if I was the cop that woke up, I'd be like, nope.
You're going to be like, turn me into a zombie?
Get me.
At least I'll be a zombie, but at least I won't know.
The anxiety of the chase really kills me.
Oh, there you go.
So that was her other...
What's point number 2 in which you were wrong, not we were wrong?
This one, I think we were both wrong. Well, I was more grossed out by it.
Right.
Bagged liquids. And she made some really valid points. This is also shout out to Cassie. Capri Sun and Go-Gurt. I really do enjoy both of those things.
How can you not like a Capri Sun?
It's really good. And every time I'm at my niece and nephew's house, I still Go-Gurt.
Right.
Because they're good.
I don't know that this is too much information, even on a Christian podcast. Like, my mother-in-law is a huge fan of
of
the boxed wine.
Oh yeah,
but it's not wine in a box, really. It is wine in a bag,
sack, enclosed in a box. Exactly.
It is bag wine, not box wine.
But also, like, okay, but here's the thing about these. I imagine a wine skin to be super unstructured, like the box wine without the box.
Mm-hmm.
But like Go-Gurt has like the seam on the side. Capri Sun has the seams where it's like still an upright object that's structured. That makes it a little better. It makes it better. Drinking out of just like a loose
water
sack.
balloon?
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink water out of a water balloon.
Yeah, that's just like, but also it's skin, animal skin. You even said that in the sermon this Sunday.
Animal skin.
Yeah, he dressed him with animal skins, and
so it seems like maybe that your problem isn't with the concept of liquids in a bag. It's just the idea of anything having to do with animal skins.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But if they would have gotten like a leaf and somehow been able to put it in the leaf, or like a big tropical plant.
I'm going to make a bowl out of leaves and drink out of that.
That would be better. Significantly better.
I don't know that it could hold the wine, though.
But I think if you got like a birds of paradise plant, surely they had those. Super tropical.
So the way that I'm understanding this, you are conceding both points to Cassie.
I think so, yes.
Okay, congratulations. That's not easy to do, to get Abigail Boone to concede to 2 points.
But I stand by being grossed out by skins, and
that is perfectly fine.
If I see a cop on a horse, I'm gonna laugh that's the decision he got stuck with.
I think you would be scared.
If he was coming for me, yes. But I'm rarely, if ever, the target of police.
Rarely, if ever.
I don't think I'm ever being chased.
What was the in homecoming and Christmas parades in Jonesboro, Arkansas? What ended the parade?
I think it would have been the king and queen, right?
It was always 4 policemen on horses.
Oh,
they were that is what they. I mean, they really weren't part of the parade. It was just more like they're there to.
Okay, see,
make sure nothing bad's breaking out, and that's how you knew the parade was over, because the police on the horses came.
There's 2 factors here. 1, this is proof that your town is a lot more southern than mine. 2, you're very old, and there's police horsemen riding down a little dirt road after your parade ends.
Dirt road?
That's the only 2 things that could happen here. We never had horses at our
dirt road.
I don't know what El Dorado's like. It's like, I'm imagining like Andy Griffith, the Mayberry roads.
I am the last person on this planet to defend El Dorado, Arkansas.
But you're going to defend it right now?
But the roads in the town are paved.
I don't think we have any horse policemen in Jonesboro. I've never seen that.
You know, I think that's the only time I ever saw them
in the parade.
I think it was just a ceremonial thing that they did for the parade. Again, no defense of El Dorado, but I cannot possibly imagine on what planet you think that there is some category difference between Jonesboro and El Dorado. Like if you took the Arkansas State University and removed it.
Yeah.
The towns are the same.
But we didn't have horsemen.
I would imagine. I want you. This is your assignment between now and the next time we record.
Okay.
I want you to take that concept to your parents. There were never any in Jonesboro any policemen on horses ever.
Well, I'm saying lifetime. When I was alive.
Okay, yeah, I'm down for that.
I was
While
only
you were
there
alive.
18 years.
Huh?
In the 18-year span that I was there.
Right, and then bring that back.
Okay.
Good. Is this something Granny Boone can help us out with?
Probably.
Okay.
I could probably text her right now. Live call in from like Deal or No Deal.
Thank you, Cassie, for rebuking Abigail and some of her mediocre takes. All right. We have been doing parables for a hot minute, and we just did one in Luke 14.
Yes.
And about how we should have a more of a selfless attitude in relationships rather than a reciprocal ones. And we should humble ourselves rather than lift ourselves up, which then led to another parable that Jesus was talking to the Pharisees about to kind of really help them understand that not only are you not great in this world, but because of your attitude in this world, you're going to struggle in the next life as well. you're going to miss the invitation.
Mm-hmm.
And now, just right after that, we're about to get another parable, but the transition here is going to be, he is no longer here with these Pharisees. Verse 25, large crowds were traveling with Jesus, and turning to them, he said. So we've switched venues.
He's not in the contested waters.
He's not there anymore. He is with people. He's with the people. He's large crowds, right? Usually it's either he's talking to people who oppose him, he's talking to just his followers, or he's talking to the crowds. We know we're in the crowds, but there's an interesting thing that I want to make sure we understand here in this transition, because in the parable that he talks about right before that we covered several weeks ago, it was, all these people, all these people are invited to this banquet, and all these people give excuses. I can't come. I can't come. I can't come. I can't come.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lame beggars, those, he said, we're gonna fill this place up. Master told his servant, go out the roads, country lanes, compel them to come, so that my house will be full. I tell you, not one of those who were invited will get a taste of my banquet.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these religious elitist kind of people, they got the initial invites and didn't say yes. And so even though they're invited, they don't make it there, but it is just regular people that are going to be the ones that make it. And so immediately then the transition is
him with those people.
And now he's with the regular people.
Okay.
And your instinct is to think he's going to have some really good, fun, encouraging words to say to them. The elitists, they're bad. They're going to miss out on everything. And it's the bros that are the ones that are going to end up there. And Jesus is now with the bros. And your natural instinct in the flow of that is, we're about to move from him talking to bad guys, harsh things. These are my people, and I've got nothing but encouraging words to say to them. Abigail Boone, if you think that's what's about to happen,
just you wait.
I assure you it is not. These are the first words out of his mouth. Verse 26, if anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even their own life, such a person cannot be my disciple. And whoever does not carry their cross and follow me cannot be my disciple.
Sounds really extreme.
That's fun. That's just great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the contrast. It's the contrast between his interactions with the Pharisees to this. And again, what you expect him to say. These are the people that responded to the invite. And now he comes to the people who supposedly are the ones that are going to respond to the invite. And he says, unless you are willing to take these, what feel like harsh, extreme measures, you won't make it. You can't say you won't make it either, because they weren't there when he was talking about it. But that's the way your brain goes. You're not going to make it either unless you live up to these high cost sorts of decisions.
This is a moment where we've mentioned before that Paul's seen as the intense dude and Jesus is the soft, lovey one. And I know the sections or paragraphs before this were the same, but this is like I don't know, he was pretty intense too.
He's pretty intense. We gloss over some of Jesus's rough edges in the same way we ignore the God in the Old Testament, some of his more gracious things. So it's just more easy to put, well, the God of the Old Testament is so mean, I've got him in a box.
Yeah.
So I can dismiss him. And Jesus is a bro. And so I put him in a box, and so then I can dismiss anything that feels anything less than bro-ish. And then Paul,
he just mean.
He's not Jesus. He says he's not Jesus, and what he says doesn't match up with Jesus, because Jesus, I don't know if you know this, was a bro. And now here it is. Yeah, you can be my disciple, but only if you hate your mom. And if you hate your mom, then you're good. Should we try to explain that first, or go to the?
I would love for you to explain that. Are we going to go back to it?
Here's the thing that pastor teachers always say. Well, Abigail, obviously Jesus doesn't mean hate, right?
But he said it.
Okay, but in his defense, I don't know. That is an English word.
Hate is
an English word, right? That's our word.
I feel like everybody says like hate is the one thing you should not do.
Right. And Jesus says we need to love everybody, and it says, and there are plenty of scriptures that say that if you hate somebody,
That's like
it's the
killing
same
them.
as murder. Jesus says that, right? If you hate, you might as well be killing them. It's the same level. This is the same Jesus.
Is that the same hate word?
Okay, so the idea here is one, just hyperbole in general.
Okay.
And then context clues also help us, but this word here that is used, both the Greek word here and the Hebrew word that is often associated with this too, has the idea of reject versus choose.
Okay.
Given a choice, I choose Jesus.
Okay.
I reject choosing you. I choose Jesus. Is not the same as what we mean by hate, which is I actively will cause you harm. And so when Jesus used, again, context matters a ton. And so, again, there is a clearer, softer word that Jesus could have used.
Yeah.
Right? He could have said, anybody who chooses to do what their parents say when I tell them to do something different can't be my disciple. Like, yeah, I mean, if I'm going to follow you, then I have to follow your teachings, not someone else's teachings.
Right.
Duh, of course. He levels it up a little bit. Like, you can't follow your own instincts. You have to follow my instincts. Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. But he levels it up a little bit by choosing
the rejection,
a stronger word, but not quite as strong as what we instinctively mean by the word hate.
Yeah.
I'm going to actively cause you harm.
Yeah.
I wish harm upon my parents. I wish harm upon my brother and sister. I wish harm upon myself.
Yeah.
And I'm going to actively pursue things that bring them harm. And then I can be Jesus' disciple. That just doesn't make sense based on the totality of his teaching.
Yeah.
But it does mean something. And again, in the context here, it is about who are you really going to follow?
But you said he's talking to. Are we assuming this crowd is anyone, or these are people who are following him?
These are people who are interested enough to kind of follow him around.
Okay.
Large crowds were traveling with Jesus. Like enough people were like, I'm going to hang out here long enough. He intrigues me enough to maybe I do want to follow him.
But not as disciples.
Those disciples would
they were
obviously
there,
be a part
but
of
it's
that.
not like he's talking to that type of person.
He's not specifically just talking to that level.
Okay.
All right. So, and I think what he says here at the end is going to help us here a little bit too.
Okay.
Verse 28, now we get to the parable. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, this person began to build and wasn't able to finish. Or suppose a king is about to go to war against another king. Won't he sit down and consider whether he is able with 10,000 men to oppose the one coming against him with 20,000? If he is not able, he will send a delegation while the other is still a long way off and will ask for terms of peace. In the same way, those of you who do not give up everything you have cannot be my disciples. Salt is good, but if it loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is fit neither for the soil nor for the manure pile. It is thrown out. Whoever has ears to hear, let them hear.
I feel like that last paragraph was really random. We can get there.
Right. But I want to make sure we catch the last thing that he said, though, regardless of the randomness.
Whoever has ears, let them hear.
That is something that Jesus says very often associated with some of his more confusing statements. Like he'll say something like, whoa! And then he ends up, if you really listen, you'll get it. That's really what he's saying. If you really have ears, if you really heard me, then hear what I'm saying. Am I willing to do the work to kind of get at what is Jesus really calling me? What is he really saying here? I can be taken aback by an exaggerated hyperbole, use of the word hate, whatever.
And then it rolls off.
I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. So I didn't really I didn't really have ears. So I dismiss it on some level. I can't follow this sort of guy. It's like, what could a guy who talks so much about how important it is to love one another, what could he possibly be saying here?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, what somebody you gotta eventually figure, okay, if you're gonna build a house, you gotta make sure you got enough money and materials to do it. And if you're gonna go to war, you gotta make sure you got enough soldiers to win. Okay. So I have to use a phrase that we use, I have to count the cost. I have to count the cost, right? I have to decide, is doing this worth the price? Because it would be way worse to try to do it and not do it than to just not do it.
Which is interesting because I feel like this is probably not the best phrase to put it, but it's like, it's not for everyone. Like if you actually hear and you actually count the cost, you may end up not doing it.
Right.
Like the soldiers thing, like it's not like count the cost and we're pretty much the underdog, but here we go.
Yeah, Jesus is not trying to just like, how many followers can I get on Instagram?
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, I just need you to click the button and say that you like me. Right. That's not what he's looking for. And I think if you have ears, you'll hear that. I'm not looking for someone who is interested in what I say. I'm not interested in someone who just kind of likes my vibe, who's interested in listening to me,
likes the people I'm with.
Yeah, who will like, I'll consider your teaching I'll follow you as a teacher. I'm interested in your life advice. He is looking for someone to completely turn their life around. I reject my old life. I choose a new life. I'm not looking for a new guru. I'm looking for a new life. It's not about what the values my mom and dad gave me. It's not about what my friends say. It is not about what I think is best for me. I am choosing something very different. I'm choosing to follow Jesus, and that means more than listening to him pleasantly.
Yeah.
It is something that is going to cost me my entire life.
Which I feel like probably, like if someone's talking to me about, like, do you want to come on this road trip or something like that? I might think like, I don't have time this weekend. But if they're like, well, you really need to decide because we won't be back for another year, I feel like, ooh, okay.
Right.
Let me think. Like it shows kind of like the value of the call by how much he's asking them to, like, are you willing to actually make this turn?
Yeah. Or like a challenge that you might give to one of your kids. Here is this great prize. And you are here. In order for you to get this, I need you to do this.
That's hard to do.
Right? And if you do this, you'll get it. If you don't, you don't. But you have to decide, are you willing to do this chore, to do this task, to follow this show, to do whatever it is that I've told you, and then everything that you want is there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, college is a little bit that way.
Yeah.
There is, if I am willing to
put
4
years
in the work for 4 years, I will theoretically be granted this status that will allow me then to experience life in a different way. If that's not what you want, if you're not willing to put in the work, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
It's best to just not. It's not that this thing is not incredibly valuable. It is incredibly valuable. Now, it's not for everybody. Again, that's why the college metaphor is falling apart here, because college is in fact not for everybody.
Right.
But it is going to cost you something. You do not want to go to school for a year, get $15,000 in debt, drink and party your way out of it, and fail, have to go back home a failure with $15,000 worth of debt, and trying to figure out, now what am I going to do with the rest of my life? You don't want to do that. You need to make sure you understand what it is that you're doing. Yeah. Now, theologically, I want to make sure we're not talking about that in order to earn your salvation, there are works that you have to do.
Right. Yeah.
But following Jesus is about committing your life fully to him.
And I do think, in the same sense of it not being legalistic, there's no way for someone to be like, I'm saying yes to Jesus. And we're like, wait, let's think about what your marriage is going to be like. Let's think about what your raising kids is going to be like. Let's think about, like, you can't necessarily go through all of those things, but just like realizing how much, like, this isn't just like a piece of the pie that is giving over in your life. It's the whole entire pie.
Yeah. Jesus is asking for, I want you to follow me, but I am calling you to a complete and totally different sort of life. I'm not asking to enter into your life. I'm asking you to follow me, and I'm going to remake your life completely. Again, it is these, they're, and we could go back, I guess, at some point and put these into categories, right? I mean, there's different categories for different parables. I mean, you've got, prodigal son on one hand, which is like the irrational, unconditional love of God. You've got the guy with the workers in the field who got a full day's labor for an hour's worth of work, right? And just the full generosity and unconditional love in favor of God. And then you've got the parable of the talents, which is like, I've given you this, and I'm going to come back and see what you did with it. And my pleasure depends on your faithfulness.
Yeah.
And this goes into that category. Like, I enter God's favor completely as a gift, but once there, I have a significant stewardship. And again, and it does speak against this idea of, oh, I mean, Jesus, again, he sounds like a cool guy. Yeah. I'll kind of listen to him. No, I mean, even if it's salvation is fully free, the decision that you're making to follow Jesus in that moment is to say, I am rejecting something and turning completely towards something. I'm not asking Jesus to come in and bro out with me in my life of sin. I'm saying I want to reject. I'm repenting of this and turning towards Jesus. And that's what he's saying here, right? In order to really be my disciple, you have to repent of your previous life and turn towards a different life. Again, the use of the word hate and bringing mom into it. I mean, it just escalates it. Yeah. But it's not that I'm watering it down by saying the thing that I said, because how does he end it? He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Do the thoughtful work and really get at what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is following me has a real cost. And if you're not willing to pay that cost, you're not really going to be my disciple. Yeah. And so Jesus did all the work to forgive all of the sin, but my choice to follow him is a choice to reject everything and follow him. Again, doesn't mean I have to hate my mom forever. And that's in any real sense, right? I don't have to hate my mom, but I do have to turn from anything that's not Jesus. Turns out loving my family is something that Jesus wants me to do. And so I get that back. But if loving my family means I have to fall into really dysfunctional systems or to live a life in such a way that God has considered immoral, no, then I continue to reject that. Even as I love her, I still am rejecting this thing that is not what Jesus has called me to. Yeah.
So what about verse 34? Yeah. Because we did the parable of the salt.
So salt is a common metaphor. Sure. Right? And so salt has a quality about it. Like it is used for preservation. It is something that you can put on unrefrigerated meat to make it last a little bit longer. It is something that can be used for flavor. And it is just something that Jesus said, like, this is what I have called you to be salt. You are meant to bring spice and preservation to the world. You are the salt of the earth. And so he's sitting here talking about, if you're going to be my disciple, you've got to reject all of this and follow me. You don't want to be like this guy who builds half a house, and you don't want to be like this king that went and fought and got dominated in the army. You don't want to be like that. You want to be someone who fully follows me. You don't be someone who, I guess loses the thread.
So like
Because
someone
like
who
if you're supposed to be salt, and suddenly I'm going to be salt, and then suddenly you stop doing what I've called you to do, then you become useless.
okay. So it's kind of like an encouragement to why to turn and repent to like all of these things, like keep going.
It is part of the cost of discipleship.
Okay.
Like if you do that, if you say that you're going to do it and you don't, you're saying I'm going to bring preservation and flavor to the world,
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't.
Yeah.
There's really no value in almost following Jesus.
Yeah.
There is following and not following. There's
Mm-hmm.
not almost following. There's not sort of following.
Yeah.
Which again is a hard thing for some people to hear, where it's like, because a lot of us do, we are doing our very best to try to prove Jesus wrong. Like, no, you can.
Yeah.
You can sort of follow him. You can just kind of come to his meeting, and I kind of like most of what he says, but mostly I'm just kind of living my life based on my own values with a little bit of Jesus input.
Right.
He is one of the advisors at the table when my family sits down to decide what we're going to do and who we're going to be this year.
Yeah.
Jesus gets a vote.
Yeah.
And Jesus like, that's not what this is.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what following me is. And, people continue to try, and it is to those people that Jesus is speaking. You don't sort of do this.
Yeah.
You do it.
Well, I think in the same thought also on, it's not about legalism of like you have to do X amount of things to become a follower. It's also like some of the things of rejecting you won't even think about until the moment hits you years down the line, probably, of like,
right.
Oh, right, I have to do this with my finances when I get to this point in life. I'm still rejecting and following in this way. And it's not like all at one time you're going through your whole life choices that are going to come up.
And again, some people just try to, again, put a post-Paul, post-resurrection, can you lose your salvation sort of theological arguments behind this. So it's like, okay, then so somebody receives Jesus and then gives up halfway and they become useless salt. So they became a Christian and they lost their salvation. That's just not what Jesus is talking about. He's talking about that salvation is something that you give your full life to.
Mm-hmm.
And full stop. That is what this is.
Yeah.
What if at some point while you've supposedly given your whole life to Jesus, you mess up? Like, oh, well, there's plenty of other verses that speak specifically to that about the grace of God. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about someone who is trying to is giving their life to Jesus and sometimes fails at it, like Peter did.
Yeah.
He seemed to be able to forgive Peter really quickly. Right? I mean,
he did some messy stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he denied him 3 times and threatened to, cut somebody for saying he knew Jesus. So like, he did. Obviously, Jesus is always forgiving and gracious, and he's helping. All of those things are true, but all of that is in the context of people who have laid down their lives for Jesus. Failing to do something that you're intending to do is different than this is never what I intended.
Yeah.
Hey, it turns out in order to be a follower of Jesus, you have to have these sorts of priorities. Well, I don't want that. And then then what are you doing? Because this is what this is. It is giving your life fully to it. And I have to balance the grace and forgiveness of God with this idea of Jesus is asking for my whole life. When we focus on one, that God is gracious and kind and forgiving, then I end up with just kind of this soft, easy belief, that it's just that Jesus is a counselor and advisor, and that's a mediocre something. Or I can focus exclusively on, it's going to be hard, and he asked for everything. And I lose sight of the fact that this is all about reconnecting with a God who loves me more than I can even possibly imagine. I put these two things together. Everything I have has been given freely to me, but I have also made a choice to give my whole life to God.
Yeah.
And we can, and I said this, trying to think exactly when this is going to air. 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Anyways, at church.
Oh,
where we just kind of talked about, I really do think of all the off ramps, one of the biggest ones is our inability to put those two ideas together.
Yeah.
All the work that needs to be done to get me in a relationship with God was done by Jesus, and he has called me to a life of service.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those things are true. And if we can't keep them balanced, isn't even in the right word, I almost like
two full glasses of water.
tension, parallel together. Yeah, I like that. I've got two things, and they're connected, but they're not against each other.
Right.
But just one of them
is insufficient
for really what God has called me to.
Mm-hmm.
He did all the work. He has called me to work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Ephesians 2:8-10 says. Everything is based on his work. He has called me to work. And if you don't balance those out, you'll fade one way or the other.
Yeah.
You either turn into, your life will fall apart because you don't take the call on your life seriously enough, or you're going to burn out because you're trying to earn something that cannot be earned.
Mm-hmm.
So this falls into the category of, hey, those of us who live deeply in the grace of God need to also be reminded
there's a cost to this.
He's asked for, you've theoretically, in the things that you said when you got baptized or where you prayed to receive Jesus or whatever, you said, I've given you my life.
Mm-hmm.
I repent. This is what that means. So that was not a great podcast minute. That was a small sermon. That was a devotional. It was a devotional.
But I liked it. That was
fine.
A yes and amen the whole time.
It wasn't that it was bad content. It's like the old original Cultivate podcast. So it was just me by myself talking
before
for 30 minutes.
Got here.
Do what?
Before I got here.
Before the bagel boom. All right. Well, thank you as always for being here with us, and thank you for joining us as well. Again, we've got a few more of these to do, and excited about sharing them with you. Encourage you to come back, and we'd love to connect with you on a Sunday if we haven't. You can find us at thegrovechurch.org. In our Connect page, you'll find a form you can fill out. You can ask us questions. You can rebuke any of Abigail's bad takes. Questions that you have, things that we can cover. We would love to hear from you on that. And we would love to see you on our services, either online or in person. All the information you need is there. And again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Cultivate podcast. Our hope is that you are taking steps to go deeper in your faith, that you are asking big questions and you're looking for answers. We hope that we can be a resource for you through our podcast and any other way that we can help you. You can find all our episodes anywhere that you can find podcasts, including YouTube. And again, thank you so much for joining us.